What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the dev channel. I know it's been quite a bit since the last tutorial, and I know you guys have a specific tutorial in mind from like the comments of those videos and other comments that I've gotten. And don't worry, that tutorial is coming. I've said it in the comments of a couple of or replied to a couple of comments with it. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a top bar based main menu where you can navigate different UIs with a top bar. Kind of like what I'm just showing you right now. This actually is my game that I'm making. It's called Project Swift. I'm hoping to release it somewhat soon. I mean, I don't know. It's not completely finished yet. It still has a little bit to go. This is going to be a very simple tutorial. I'm just going to show you how to get the groundwork going for a UI that looks like this. Without further ado, let's get started. So to start, we're going to need to open up the starter GUI, and we're going to add a screen GUI. We are going to rename the screen GUI to main menu just for convenience sake. This is how I have it spelled in my tutorial. Again, name it whatever. After that, we're going to create the top bar. In order to do that, we're going to add a frame underneath this screen GUI, and we're going to customize it to however we want. So for me, I would want this size of the frame to be like stretching all the way across the screen, and I will say let's put 0.1 down on the screen. Again, when you're working with UI, don't forget that you have a scale and an offset. An offset is the pixel count, or like the pixel size of the frame, GUI, whatever, and scale is like the percentage of like what the screen is taken up in that axis. So in this case, this size takes up the entire x-axis, and it only takes up 0.1 or 10% of the y-axis. After that, we can customize this frame to however we like. So I'm gonna kind of create it like Swift. So I'm gonna set the background color to black. I was about to add a gradient, but I'm not gonna do too much, just so this tutorial is like simple to follow. And yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rename this frame to top bar. But yeah, customize this frame however you like. You can have like different color, gradient, UI stroke, whatever. After that, we're gonna create a text button. And this text button, again, I'm gonna have you guys customize this however you want. I'm gonna make this the same color as the background, and I'm going to change text color to be white. You know, you can actually see text. I'm gonna use different text options as well. And then I recommend scaling the text on these buttons so it actually like scales to the button size. And what we're gonna do is go back up, and I'm gonna set the size of this button to be about 0.25 of the x-axis. This might be a little big. Actually, this is kind of big. I'm gonna lower it to 15. Once you have this button customized to however you want, you can basically just duplicate this button for however many buttons you want. This tutorial, I'm just gonna do 3 just for convenience sake. And then you reposition them, line them up, whatever. This isn't perfect by any means, but this is just for the tutorial. Again, like I said, huge customizability factor. I'm just showing you the backbone. Once you have that, you're gonna edit the text of the button along with the button name to whatever you want. So let's say this button is home. Say this button here on the far right is settings. And let's say this button in the middle is, I don't know, store. And then what we're gonna do is each individual button, we're just gonna go through and rename it. Home, store, settings. After that, it's time to create the frames that our top bar will control. So what we're gonna do is in the main menu screen GUI, we're going to add another frame. Again, like I said for everything else so far, customize this frame to however you want. For the sake of this video, I'm actually just gonna kind of do what I have Swift. So I'm gonna set the background to be, or background color to be black. I'm going to set the size of it to fill up the rest of the screen. So it'll be 1 on the scale on the x-axis, then 90% of the y-axis. And as you can see, it takes up the rest of the screen that the top bar doesn't. After that, I'm just gonna set the background transparency to 0.5, and voila. Add whatever you want into the frame, so like buttons and other mumbo jumbo. Once you have this frame set up to how you like, you can literally just duplicate it 3 times or twice, or however many times you have for buttons. And what you're going to do is for each frame, you're just going to turn visible to be off, except for one, which is going to be your home frame, or whatever frame you want the player to see upon loading into the main menu. Then you're going to rename the frames. So I'll rename this frame to home. I'll rename this one to store. I will rename this one to settings. So now our GUI is done. Again, this is literally just the backbone. I'm not putting in any actual design effort for this. Now it's time to get to the scripting. For each of these top bar buttons, we're going to add a local script into each of them. And at the top of the script, we're just going to define a couple of variables. So to start, we're just going to define the player. We're going to define the GUI that we're working with. And we're going to define the frame that we're wanting to be, like, you know, shown on the screen. This button right here is the home button. So whenever the home button is pressed, we are going to want to show the home GUI. Seems simple enough, right? One last variable that we're going to define is just the button, and that will be script.parent. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get when the button is pressed. And that's what this function is right here. We get when the button is activated and we connect it to a function. Now let's write that function. First thing we're going to do, which is standard for all of the scripts that we're going to do, is we're basically gonna just run through a for loop, which basically just goes for IV in pairs, GUI get children, which is basically it's looking at this main menu GUI and it's looking at the children of it, which is just these 4 frames. And if the child that it has selected currently, if their name is not equal to top bar, then it will set the visibility of that frame to equal false. Actually, we're gonna add one more precautionary here. We're gonna just do v is a frame, just, you know, just to make sure if you add like a script in here, like a script directly underneath the main menu GUI, it just doesn't look for a visible variable in that script, because again, scripts don't have a visible variable. I'm stuttering a bunch today. I'm sorry. I'm really tired. But yeah, let's go to the next bit. This is actually going to be the final bit of our function, or at least this function. And that's just going to be setting the frame to be equal to true, or frame visibility to equal true. And the frame that we're setting this visibility to equal true is the frame that we describe up here. So now, funnily enough, we can actually just copy and paste this script into the other local scripts and just change this frame find first child bit to be whatever frame we are trying to change. Ooh, wait, this is the store script. Okay. Here, let me fix that real quick and then paste. And yeah, so if I were to hit play and test this, main menu shows up. Don't worry, we'll fix this in a second. But yeah, if I click the buttons, it swaps. Now, obviously, this GUI isn't perfect. For starters, you saw that the GUI in set was still pushing the GUI down. We can fix this real quick by clicking on the screen GUI and checking this little box right here, ignore GUI in set. That will basically just make it so it doesn't get pushed down by these buttons up here. Instead, it will actually take up the entire screen that you want it to. So again, still works and everything. And yeah, another thing that you're probably going to want to change in the screen GUI's properties is you're probably going to want to disable reset on spawn. Usually most games have a key, like a keybind or like a button that will bring up the main menu. You don't want the main menu to just keep popping up when the player spawns. Another thing that's obviously apparent is now this is what our studio looks like. The GUI is always visible, and we don't really want that to happen. So what we could do actually is we could just disable this GUI, and what we could do in starter player script is we can just create a local script, and when the player joins, because this script will just be immediately run, what we can do is just local player game.players.player player.player GUI.main.enable, and we could just have that. Again, if you already have like a player join script somewhere, like that's actually handled, like player games.player or game.players.player added connect function blah 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 blah, you can just set this in here. But now if we go back to here, it's not in studio, but if I were to hit play, you have an error. That's because I'm not waiting for the child. It's immediately running, so we need to do wait for child, main menu. And there we go. Again, GUI still works and everything. And yeah, there's one last thing though that you've probably seen. There isn't a way to get out of the GUI once we're in it. So what we could do actually is we could just add a home button to, or a play button to the home screen. So I'm just gonna re-enable the GUI while I'm working on it. And in the home button, or the home frame I mean, we could just add a quick text button, customize it to however you want. I'm just making a really quick button. We could title it play. Yeah, that works. And then I'll just set the size to be 0.20, 0.2, whatever, who cares, big button. Text scaled. And in this text button, I'm gonna rename this to play. And I'm going to add a local script. And basically what we're gonna do is local player. Actually, we don't even need to do that. It's just local button equal script dot parent. What we could do is button dot activated connect function. Whoa. But yeah, connected to a function. And what we could do is literally just script dot parent dot parent. Actually, you know what? We'll do the smart thing, and we'll do local player equals game dot players dot local player player dot player. Oh my god, dude, I'm on one right now. Player GUI, wait for child, main menu, and then just GUI dot enabled. Then if we play this, play button, main menu goes away. And yeah, that's actually it for the backbone. Again, this is a super bare bones tutorial design wise. This is just kind of showing you how the scripting would work. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know you guys, again, like I said earlier in the video, are expecting another tutorial that goes with the gun system. And I want to let you guys know that I actually just got monetized. So channel memberships will be on the way. And I'm thinking for a members only series, I make an actual gun system, like a fully in-depth like gun kit and whatnot. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that, actually having like a model framework for guns that actually like makes sense and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.